Вітаємо усіх!
We greet everyone who watches us today. We continue our work at Ukraine Crisis Media Center. And now the topic is presentation of Valentyna Lazebnyk's book, Still in the Steppe, View from Ukraine. Jacobson, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Kingdom of Belgium of Ukraine, Nadiya, Kapustina, Dnipro National History Museum, and Dmytro Pirkl, medalist and patron, and Valentyna Lazebnyk, author of the book, head of the Ukrainian history research, and Yuriy Malienko, designer, and of Dnipro National History. And now the floor is given to the author of the book, Valentyna Lazebnyk. So, in 1899, Vladimir Galerovsky, a journalist, while traveling in the southern Russia from Kharkiv to Kryvyi Rih, he presented his short essay, and in this essay he wrote, "Foreigners go to Russia with huge capital, and Belgians are masters in this." He says that the best minds and plans are in their hands along the Dnipro River, and they say that ore and coal and prospecting is done by Belgians, and only Kalachevsky and Kapilov, Russian entrepreneurs, are present there, and everyone else is a foreigner, and they all try to make their business there. So this is a picture of that times. And foreigners, they came here, and they had the goal to earn money, and there was a lot of work ahead, and there was young market in Ukraine, and also the new plants, they were better than in the countries these foreigners lived. So about 5% of coal industry, they were provided, and 40% in the industry. So Belgium came to the investment market a little bit later than Britain and France, but in the short period of time it created a heavy industry and created a territory that was called Ukrainian Belgium, and this was done in the industry in Ukrainoslavshchina, and those processes of industrialization that were ongoing in Europe, they took 25 years, and in Ukraine it rose in 10 or 15 years. So this was really a high-speed development, and the main reasons were, of course, international investment, and Belgium was among the first countries, the first country that took the first place in the number of capital invested, and from the other side it took the first place in the number of stock companies created, and 117 Belgian enterprises were present in these territories. So this book is about Belgium and about Belgian investments, and there are 240 pages in this book, and 270 illustrations, and Belgium, the role of Belgium was not highlighted properly before, and in conditions of collapse of the Soviet Union, there were works on German investment and French investment, And these works were they were published in Russia, and the Ukrainian scientists only tried to develop this topic, but there were no proper research in Russia about Belgium. Russians didn't want to speak about these investments because this was really an important area for investment. So we have 270 illustrations, and we searched for these materials long before, and the Embassy of Belgium supported us in this, and ambassadors of Belgium, they got information. They knew about the events that happened here in these territories, and they traveled to museums, to different cities. They visited Kryvyi Rih, Dnipropetrovsk, and Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast cities, Odessa and Mykolaiv, in search of the evidence of that history. And due to our common efforts, we gathered a lot of materials, but this was not enough. We needed some documents, some stories that would confirm what we knew. And Dmytro Alexandrovich Pirkl supported us. He is a medalist and arts patron, and during last 7 years the museum collection got a lot of valuable artifacts, bonds and stocks of joint stock companies that were created in Europe and were active in Ukraine. And Dmytro Alexandrovich, in Europe and in the former territory of Russian Empire, he found these documents and gathered maybe the biggest collection of these valuable documents on foreign investment. Out of these, 210 belonged to Belgium, and Belgium contributed really a lot to build the heavy industry here. Also, we found not only photos and documents, but also these stocks. These are financial documents, and they provide preliminary information, the name of the enterprise, including geographic name, the date, the main capital, the creation of the place of creation. Mainly it was done in Brussels, and also the Serena and the Liège, Caen, Charleroi, and Marseille upon. So these are the cities the entrepreneurs came from, and they created enterprises in Ukraine. And also there were autographs of the members of the board, the heads of the board of these stock companies. And also we found lists of enterprises and all the lists of the members of the board of these enterprises. Unfortunately, we were not able to find the photos of many of them. So we hope that in Belgium maybe they will find some archives and photos of these people. We would be really grateful for this, because we understand that these photos are not here, they are in Belgium, but we got some materials from Belgium, and also there are some people from Kiev also who have such photos. These photos, they are unique. There are metallurgy plants in these photos. These are huge objects with furnaces And for people of that time, it was really something amazing. And we found photos of the workers of these plants, and in these photos there are heads of the enterprises, masters, and also foremen from Belgium. And also there are mines, raw mines, and the pictures of trams that were created by Belgium enterprises, and they were used in all big cities of Russia and Ukraine, and also metallurgy plant photos of interest because in short time the entrepreneurs from Belgium built 17 biggest plants, and metallurgy business, metallurgy market in Russia it was related to foreign capital 80%. Here in these territories 100% were the plants with the foreign investment and foreign management. So these are interesting pictures you may see here, and the task that was before me concerning historiography. Now there are a lot of books on history of Ukraine, and they say that French and German investments, they are better studied, and here we were able to present data based on financial documents, and this is the data about most of these enterprises. So also the history of this period is called the European period in the history of Ukraine. And today we believe that we should continue our study, and one of the main tasks was to popularize this difficult and not well-known topic, and we believe that our book will help to contribute to better knowledge of this period. And there are a lot of materials about people who represented business elite of Ukraine and Belgium, and this is business history, and the history of people who risked their capital, risked their lives, because there are evidence that some of them are here in this land, and they survived the crisis of 1900s, and that happened here, and also they survived revolution, and also the biggest blow is the revolution of 1917, when after the First World War and revolution, all these enterprises were nationalized, just taken away from their legal owners. And the history of this period, 1917, 1918, 1919, it needs further research, but the fact is the fact that Belgium recognized Soviet Union in 1933, and the main reason for this was that Soviet Union took away the property that belonged to private enterprises from Belgium. And today we may say that this book is the revival of Ukrainian history and Belgium, and I have a lot of works about Ekaterina Slavshina and Ukrainoslav, but this topic was just something new even for me. I would like to thank my colleagues and embassy of Belgium in Ukraine and Luke Jacobs, and they traveled around the Dnipropetrovsk area, and also we want to thank Dmytro Pirkl and our designer who joined us, and the Ukraine Crisis Media team, and we brought information to people in Konstantinivka, Mariupol, Lysychansk. They all search for documents about Belgium enterprises, about their history, because not many people know about their history, and we hope that historians from Belgium will help us to further study these pages of our common history. And we have the national holiday in Belgium, and I would like to greet the king, the ambassador, and all the nation with your national holiday. And our main message is we want to continue this work further and to find new pages of our common Ukrainian and Belgian history. And now we give the floor to Luke Jacobs.
Доброго дня всім. Дуже дякую, пані Valentyna.
We thank Valentyna.
Your ending words are for me an occasion already to start with congratulating you, Pani Valentyna Lazebnyk, Dmytro Pirkl, and Yuriy Malienko for a mission accomplished in producing this beautiful, tangible proof of a very solid relationship between, and a long-standing relationship between Belgium and Ukraine. So congratulations to you all, and thank you for your congratulations for our National Day. 15th of November indeed is King's Day. It is an important national day for Belgians. But I would say not only for Belgium, because it is also a day that we can celebrate our partnership and our friendship with a lot of countries, and here, of course, in Kiev, especially with Ukraine. So, but just to tell you that the choice of the date, 15th of November, to officially present this book is not a coincidence. As I said, this book that we present today is a very tangible and a more than symbolic event in the way in which we try to bring to life, and I think in all modesty that we succeed a lot thanks to the work of you all, to bring to life again these important pages of a shared European history. No, it's not exactly a year ago, it's a year and a half ago, on the 10th of March 2016, I was sitting here as well, and we were then launching this exhibition on that Pani Valentyna has spoken about, a traveling exhibition about Belgian investments in Ukraine at the turn of the 19th and the 20th century. And indeed, we have been traveling a lot. You have named all the cities. We started in Kiev, we have been in Dnipro, we have been in Lysychansk, Kramatorsk, Kamyansk, Bakhmut, Mariupol, Konstantinivka, and I forget the number of cities. Jokingly, and with reference to my rock idol Bob Dylan, I call it a never-ending tour, because indeed this is a never-ending story. But there are on this path, there are important milestones. But it is a long story already, because Pani Valentyna has rightfully drawn the attention to the fact that the relationship between the National History Museum in Dnipro and the Belgian embassy and researchers in Belgium already dates for more than a decade. But the publication of this book, which is a very happy offspring of the traveling exhibition, is really a milestone. And I congratulate you on having achieved this. Why do we the Embassy of Belgium and our Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Brussels, why do we support with such an enthusiasm this project? Because of course it is about filling gaps in our knowledge about our common history and about important shared pages of history in a not that far away past, but a history that, as you have explained as well, that has been occulted, that has been purposely forgotten, and that is now in an independent Ukraine is being brought to life again. So this is also a project that is very emblematic, I would say, for the people-to-people contacts that we would like to encourage between both our countries. And for example, already the embassy team and myself, we have been benefiting a lot of this, of touring Ukraine with the exhibition. We have been to cities and to places that maybe normally we would not immediately appear on our radar, and we have been able, in talking not only to the local researchers and local musea, but also talking to the local authorities, to the local communities, and to the local and representatives of local civil society, we have learned a lot about your country. As I used to say, history is important, is absolutely, and especially in the context in which Belgium, as an EU member state, and Ukraine are now working together. It is about understanding our common roots in order to better grasp our common destiny and prepare for our common destiny. So in that framework, I also think that projects like these absolutely merit our support. It is also the publication of this book is and the research that has led to this book is part of a broader story that we see happening in Ukraine, mainly Ukraine and Ukrainians really asserting now their own identity. Where for too long Ukrainian history was written by others than yourselves. And now you have all the possibilities, all the opportunities, and also all the enthusiasm and the drive to dig up in the archives your own history and to make it known and to write it in your own words and on the basis of your own scientific research. And in that way you are assembling or reassembling the pieces of your rich history together again. And are we so proud that Belgium is a piece, a little but meaningful piece in this Ukrainian puzzle or jigsaw. So for me, professionally in a way, the spontaneous interest I see among Ukrainians in wanting and being so eager to rediscover their own history is really a very gratifying part of my job in Ukraine. Now, I should say that when I speak about support, this book is absolutely and enthusiastically supported by Belgium. We also have an important private sponsor, Havrico Insurance. It is a Belgian maritime insurance broker that was very generous in assisting us in translating the book into French, because this is a unique book, I think, in that it is a bilingual edition. It is in Ukrainian and it is in French. And this is also done on purpose, because this book should not only open history again to Ukrainians, but it should also reopen and make Belgians rediscover their history and their shared history with Ukraine. And this, speaking about the translation in French, gives me also the opportunity to thank wholeheartedly, de remercier beaucoup Dmytro Pirkl, who is here with us and who did a remarkable job in translating a very specialized language into French. It is an absolute, in terms of translation, it is an absolute masterpiece as well. And Dmytro, I know you have been really striving for high quality standards, the quality standards we are looking for. So thanks a lot for that. Now, another way in which we have supported the book is in acquiring a substantial amount of these books. And what will we do with these books? We will, of course, not keep them in the cellars of the embassy. No, we will go out with this book to everywhere in Ukraine where indeed we have these traces and still this tangible, this visible how to say, témoignage of Belgian industrial presence. We will go back to the places we visited with the traveling exhibition, and we will visit many other places. And we would like to donate this book to all local libraries, community centers, researchers, and all those instances that are really now contributing to bringing our common history to life. So in that way we would like to thank all this work. We would also want to donate the book to researchers that are already that have already accomplished additional research in their region, in their city, and we would like to thank them. We would also like to encourage more researchers to come out to make themselves known to us with projects they would like to launch, and we think that your book, Mrs. Lazebnyk, is being the perfect catalyst, and we have seen this, the traveling exhibition, and your book has been a catalyst in Ukraine in order to encourage much more research to be done. And I would like to give you a few concrete examples. In Drabiv, a city I think about 70 kilometers southeast from Kiev, local researcher Viktor Kozyrev has made a study about flax processing industry in Drabiv that was started there by a Belgian agronomist, Henri Ledoc. So he has made a study about that, and we have just published a beautiful brochure about it. It is one example. 2 weeks ago I was in Borislav meeting with with the director of the local museum of the petrol and gas industry. Do know that in the oil boom of that part of Ukraine, Drohobych, Borislav, also Belgian capital was involved in the exploration and extraction of oil. So Belgium was also there. Last week I was in Kryvyi Rih to assist in the university, in the National University, to the presentation of another book that has been made about a Belgian mine engineer that was a pioneer of the metallurgic industry in Kryvyi Rih. And last but not least, yesterday I think I was informed, but I was aware, but my attention was drawn again to the fact that our visit to Kostiantynivka last year has also sparked a new research activity, and also there researchers have been digging up archives, and also have been translating a study that has been made by a Belgian researcher based on the personal correspondence of one of the Belgian engineers living and working in Kostiantynivka 130 years ago. So these are a few of many examples, and many more to come, I'm sure, that we would like to reward by and encourage by, among other, donating this beautiful book. But again, you have been pioneers in this, and your work is really a catalyst and has been sparking all this activity, and we are so happy about that. And last but not least, I'm very happy that Pani Valentyna also has mentioned the fact that, okay, we have a lot of material in terms of figures, in terms of statistics, in terms of economic, the description of economic development, of the economic history of the industrial feats that have been, and all the industrial investment activity that took place. But what is very important as well is to know the human dimension of it all. What are the human histories behind this activity? And there is indeed a very vast domain still to be explored. But when I speak about people-to-people contact, I think that also will be very interesting to go back into the traces of Belgians that actually lived here, Ukrainian families that were working with them. Maybe I'm sure there were intermarriages and so on. There must be relatives somewhere out still in Ukraine. So let's go and find them and try and record their personal histories as it has been told to them by their families. And you also, Pani Valentyna, you expressed the hope that indeed your book could encourage further also the cooperation between Ukrainian researchers and Belgian researchers. Well, do know that in the embassy we will be your biggest ally in identifying the Belgian researchers that will be able to open their archives for you and to launch yet another beautiful phase in order to pass yet another milestone in this beautiful project we have embarked upon together. So thank you very much. Дуже дякую.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Пане Дмитро Pirkl, прошу вас до слова.
Dmytro Pirkl is given the floor. I greet everyone with this wonderful event. It is difficult to say something after Luke, and I would like to tell you about my personal views. This is like paperwork for me. This is a 10-year effort. I started together a collection, and I didn't know a lot about it, and now I feel as a person who understands what is really the case. And these documents that I collected and I provided for this wonderful book. And I would like to thank the third participant of our project, Yuriy Malienko, a designer, and he selected colors in a great way in order to express feelings and vibrations he felt while working with this material. So this book is really great, I would say, and inspiring. This book is one of the stages, and first step was the exhibition, second step is the book, and third, maybe we should create a series of films, a series of videos, because not everyone will read the book, but in modern media world, maybe short video will be great. And I hope that we will go to this third stage of our project. And I would like to say that we worked on Ekaterinoslавska province, and then we wanted to tell people about all Belgium investments that were made in these times at the end of 19th century and in the beginning of the 20th century. So I would call it Belgian cross, from Sumy to Sevastopol and from Lugansk, Kiev, and where we had this tram, and to the west. So, briefly speaking, this was Galiciana. I say about, we had a tram in the town, so I forgot the name, in Zhytomyr, Berdichev. It was Berdichev, thank you. And I would like to thank Luke, who accompanied and helped the project, and he saw with his own eyes everything that is going on in the East, and he has his own opinion on this, and I hope that this is a positive opinion. And I would like to wish to all of us success, and also we greet Luke and the people of Belgium with the King's Day, and we are really grateful for the participation in this project. And now the floor is given to Yuriy Malienko. Thank you. Good afternoon. Once again, I would like to greet the ambassador and the whole Belgian people with their holiday, with the King's Day. And I would like to say that for me it is really pleasant to work in this wonderful team. This is a fantastic team. About the work. So we started, it was 2011. We've prepared the first exhibition, then the very first exhibition, and then materials accumulated. And on the King's Day, on the 15th of November, 2016, the first version of this book was presented, and all stocks, all the documents, they are made at 13 degrees. I like this number. And in this book, we can show, it is possible to show more of these documents. And if you don't like 13, you may do it in 12 or 9, but you won't have the same effect. And also Mr. Pirkl said about the film, about the video. And we as right holders, we may create an electronic book. This will be really great. So we can place this book, e-book, on some resource. So thank you. You are a fantastic team, without any doubt. Thank you, Yuriy. Now, maybe you have questions to our guests, please. Everything is clear, right? Dmitry, a remark. So, until today, in Ukrainian Wikipedia, there is no word scrapophilia. And in the world tradition, those stocks that are out of circulation, they are collected, and this is called scrapophilia. So this book, first it was like a catalog of securities, but then it was turned out in the full-fledged book. This is not only about stocks and bonds, but also this is about other artifacts. And one of the elements I found was a button from the uniform of a Nord Express employee. And this was a little bit later than the period of the book, but it really impressed me that from Brussels to Yekaterinslav, you can travel with only one stop in Warsaw. And it is said that today this practice is not renewed, and we would like to overcome this, and we would like to have Nord Express and to travel to Brussels from Slavyansk and Konstantinovka. This was a Belgian railway company. We have information about this enterprise, and they had such a train that went through these territories. So before this presentation, we were phoned from Mariupol, from local Academy of Sciences, and they thanked for this book, and they asked whether you will deliver presentation in Mariupol, because for this city the participation of Luke Jacobs will be really of interest. This would be an extraordinary event, really.
Question or this request coming from Mariupol is the best illustration of what I explained, that indeed now that we have this instrument, this beautifully, and again Yuriy, you're so modest, this is a beautifully designed book, and look at the cover. And then we have the dust cover, as we say, and inside, because this is, you could say it's quite dry material. No, it has been beautifully illustrated and richly documented. So we have this instrument, and now that we have this instrument, we should indeed continue to go out in the country, and with much pleasure I will go back to Mariupol, so we can tell them that.
Я хочу сказать, мы так заразили бельгийское посольство этой истории, что сотрудница по имени Эвелина, которая работала здесь у нас в Украине, потом вернулась после срока, который закончился, к себе в Бельгию, и на чердаке у бабушки нашла 2 акции трамвая киевского. Она прислала их на посольство, а посольство буквально вот месяц как назад передало нам. И одну из них мы вот экспонируем, здесь в этой книге успели вставить. Так что пока поступает отовсюду нам эти сведения и материалы. В Кривом Роге неделю назад мы презентовали перевод бельгийского инженера, кардевинера, железорудное Криворожье, Донбасс и Керчь. Тоже уникальное издание, которое они перевели с французского на русский, правда, язык. Шикарно издали книгу, в которой тоже много и сведений, немало сведений, и в первую очередь о бельгийских інвестиціях.
Пані Валентино, дякую вам. І ще останнє уточнення. На жаль, ми вже за браком часу помалу маємо завершувати. Скажіть, будь ласка, люди, які дуже зацікавилися книгою, хочуть її якось придбати, але вони є приватними особами, тобто це не шкільна бібліотека, не міська бібліотека. Як вони можуть отримати видання, до кого їм звертатися, на який сайт, через які телефони, електронні адреси і так далі?
Мы подготовили, пока у нас не весь тираж еще сделан, мы подготовили листовки с адресами, телефонами нашими, на которые можно будет обратиться. Но это издание Днепропетровский национальный исторический музей, сайт которого известен. Хорошо, можете обращаться, там и телефоны, и адреса, в принципе, наши есть. А если вас интересует конкретно все это, у нас есть листовочки, которые мы можем вам сейчас раздать. Обложкой, книжечкой и координатами нашими. Но это где-то до конца месяца только мы их получим.
Ще раз прошу, пане Юрію.
Планується ще.
So they plan to create 500 copies more, but these are still only plans. And in electronic form, why not? So maybe. So we work on this issue, and maybe we will have more copies. So one more question. So we are from Konstantinovka. We came from Konstantinovka. We are from Konstantinovka, and we print articles about Belgium, and we want to greet him with King's Day. And from Konstantinovka, we want to present several articles and newspapers from our town. Thank you. We thank our guests, all those who are from the diplomatic institutions and foreign companies. We thank Luke Jacobs for being present at this presentation. We thank for participation in this Ukrainian and Belgian project. All those who are interested in this book, you can find information on the site of Dnipro